Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Harry's Half Hour, hosted by me, your pal Harry D. Now, you've got the gist of this show by now. It's basically just a roundup of the weekly sort of news stories. I usually have a cool guest on, or, I'm joined by a good friend. Unfortunately, this week I'm not. And actually, this week, I haven't been very well. I wasn't that well when I recorded the regular Dude What podcast with Hamby. We did the episode of Least Favourites, which I hope everyone enjoyed. I think you're all enjoying it because it's doing pretty well. They were getting lots of listens in, which is fantastic. But yeah, I've not been very good, and I might sound it. Throat is sore, nose is running. Big cold for me, I think. Not the COVID, done the tests, not the COVID, just a big cold. So this episode is probably going to be a short one. Probably not that interesting. I know that, as I said, I usually have a guest on. A lot of people really like the sort of the interview format that I do with that. Thinking about making that its own actual podcast is I don't know. I don't know. I was trying to off the dome a title there, but I really don't have an idea. But yeah, just an interview podcast. But we're going to go straight into it this week. Music news. As everyone knows, music and films are two of my favourite thing ever. So, music news. Starting off, world famous, fantastic musician, amazing guitar player, Carlos Santana has cancelled a load of shows that he was supposed to do this December, because of a heart procedure. Now, I had to look this up because I'm a big fan of Carlos Santana. Been listening to his stuff for years. I know my dad, who's also a sort of a musician, big influence, amazing player, amazing musician. And yeah, so sort of a bit worried, what's happening with Carlos? But he's given no details on it, no specifics at all, just a heart procedure. I think in a quote, he basically just said he needs some time. So, as I said, fantastic Mexican-American guitarist and musician Carlos Santana is cancelling a load of shows. Kind of sucks for anyone who had a ticket, although I'm sure there'll be sort of big refunds coming their way. I always wondered what happened with artists when they cancel gigs. Obviously you're going to get fully refunded, but I don't know, must be a pain. Happened to a friend of mine once. Put down a load of money on going to see a sort of rising star rap star on a meet and greet, and cancelled it and had to get all of it back. Next little bit, I mentioned on the last couple of episodes, probably for the last couple of weeks actually, I sort of discovered a new band. Although discovered isn't the right word, I've known about them for a real long time. I just haven't got round to listening to them. They're a band called Volbeat, sort of folky, heavy, metal, melodic. I don't really know how to describe them, but I've been listening to them. I'm really into them. They're really good. And I actually had a message from 7:30 today, our pal 7:30, and he said, you know what, after doing that last episode with you, I actually listened to some Volbeat, and he sent me a list of tracks that he thought was really cool. Now that's surprising because it's not his sort of music, but yeah, big up 7:30. I'm glad you're listening to it, man. I'm glad you're liking it. The news this week is that tomorrow, so at the time that this comes out, today, December 3rd, Volbeat's new album comes out. I think it's called Servant of the Mind. Even though I haven't known of them for that long, I'm actually really pumped for this. I've listened through all their stuff, and yeah, the singles for this were really good. They released sort of a 4-track single, I think it was called Becoming, but yeah, some really great songs on there. All of them have made it into my big playlist, but one of them is a track called Wait a Minute My Girl. Really, really great song. Sort of heavy metal, but then it goes into almost 60s style rock and roll, which everybody knows I love, with the piano and the sax and that sort of thing. So yeah, Volbeat, new album, out today. Check it out. Ask your smart speaker to play the newest Volbeat album, and I'm sure it will. So anyone who has Spotify will know that this week you've been having your Spotify Wrapped. Now this is a thing that Spotify does where it's every year, 1st of December, they basically tell you like what you've been listening to for the year, and how many times and who your favourite bands were and stuff. And I actually always really look forward to it. Now, as I said in the previous podcasts, I have a massive playlist. It's called the Complete Ultimate Playlist, and it goes for days, weeks, months. It just keeps going and going. I add absolutely everything that I like to it, and I like a lot of stuff. So, usually it's fairly weird. Like, the Spotify algorithm, if you use Spotify a lot, you'll sort of know that from time to time, it's almost like it will decide that a song is its favourite, or a band is, and it will give you that a lot of times. Apparently, my number one most listened to song this year was Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears, which is a fantastic song, but I can't tell you when I've actually searched for that, like, once. I was for sure that it would be some Ghost or something like that would be played, but no, it's Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Great song. Must be coming around a lot in my playlist. I have the playlist on, sort of a bit of context, I have the playlist on pretty much all the time when I'm at home. I have it on in the kitchen just running through, so must be coming up a lot on that. My favourite artist, according to Spotify, for like the 4th year in a row, is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Surprise, surprise. But then again, I haven't actually searched for that many Chili Pepper songs. It's just coming up in the playlist. And an artist which is usually second for 2 years, the last 2 years, ABBA has been my second most listened to artist, and they've actually dropped down to 3rd place this year, followed by, I think, John Mayer and Ghost was in 5th. I can't quite remember the order of the rest of them, but yeah. I enjoy Spotify Wrapped. I know that it can be a little bit sort of off like mine is, but let me know what your most listened to artist was and what your most listened to song was this year. I'd be genuinely intrigued to know what the people who listen to this podcast are listening to. And weirdly, you actually have Spotify Wrapped for podcasts as well. So it showed me sort of the people who like to listen to this podcast listen to it typically around like 11 a.m, which is kind of cool. So you're listening to it when you're at home doing nothing, or while you're at work or something, which is cool. I really should have wrote it down, because there was like loads of really cool facts about everyone who's been listening to this podcast. So just keep at it. We appreciate everyone listening, so that's really helping. All right, I'm rambling there on the music news. As I said, I'm not feeling so hot. I'm swigging as much squash as I can during this. Let's go on to movie news, because there's a fair bit for this. So, Colby Smulders, known for being Agent Hill in the Marvel films, and also, I believe that she was in How I Met Your Mother, which is a show that, if you listen to the last episode with me and Hamby, where we talk about, air quotes, crappy American sitcoms, is a show that I cannot stand at all. So I've never really tried to watch it too much. But she's in that, I'm pretty sure, and she must be pretty good in that. It's got a big following. But anyway, she has joined the cast of Marvel's Secret Invasion, which is, I imagine it's going to be based on the comics. It's sort of about the Skrulls coming down and taking over everyone's appearance and stuff. Now, to this point, we've had a logo, and we've had a 2-second clip of sort of an older, or not necessarily older, just a bearded Sam Jackson looking at the camera. He's obviously reprising his role as Nick Fury, so it would sort of make sense that Maria Colby Smulders is coming back, because she plays Agent Hill, and they go together, Hill and Fury are like two characters that are always together. So yeah, Colby Smulders joining the Secret Invasion cast. A show that's been on my list for a little while, but I haven't got around to watching it, is a show on Disney Plus on Star called Only Murders in the Building. Now, this show stars Steve Martin and Martin Short, as well as oh my god, I cannot remember her name right now. Properly blanking on that one. I know who it is, I just can't remember her name, apologies. But Cara Delevingne has joined the cast of that. So it's for season 2. So the first season is basically about a load of people who are massively into true crime podcasts. It's just kind of, apt talking about a podcast on a podcast. But they're into true crime podcasts, and basically somebody gets killed in their building, and they sort of use their knowledge of true crime through the podcast they listen to try and solve it. And I'm still trying to think of her name, and I just cannot think of it at all. I want to say Vanessa Hudgens, but that isn't her. It's Selena Gomez. I got that because Come and Get It, or If You're Ready, Come and Get It started playing in my head really loud. So yeah, that's kind of weird. But yeah, Cara Delevingne joining the cast for Only Murders Season 2. I don't know anything about it. I really will have to watch it. As I said, it's been in my watch list for a little while, so I will get onto that. And I'll report back and let you know what I thought. Have any of you seen Netflix's Red Notice? No, of course I'm joking. Everyone in the world has seen Red Notice at least 100 times by now. Or at least that's basically the stats that Netflix are putting out there. So, this bit of news is that Red Notice, which is the film starring The Rock, Gal Gadot, and Ryan Reynolds, is charting at the top of Netflix's watch list for the third week in a row now. Let me know what you thought of it. Send me an email, dudewhatpodcast@gmail.com, and genuinely let me know what you thought of it, because I watched it not too long ago, and I gotta say, I didn't like it. And it's not because I don't like The Rock, or Ryan Reynolds, or Gal Gadot, as I said. It's because they just play themselves in it. Yeah, they're doing cool things, and they're searching for treasure and following the clues, which is actually one of my favourite genres of movies, is hunt for the clues, find the treasure. Me and Fia are actually watching a series at the moment on Sky Max called Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. I mentioned it in a previous podcast. It's really good. Check it out. But yeah, it's just the fact that The Rock is The Rock. I mean, he pretty much is in absolutely everything he's in. Ryan Reynolds is genuinely just being Deadpool. Whether Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, whatever way around it is, he's making all the same little jokes and quips and things that you would expect to see in a Deadpool film. So that's just kind of annoying and comes across as a bit lazy, because you're basically just watching a film with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds doing stuff. Now, Gal Gadot is the one exception, because she actually plays I guess you can say a villain for the most part in this film. And that's sort of refreshing, because usually she's the tough heroine, saviour character. And in this film, she's the kick-ass bad guy. So that was pretty good. But yeah, The Rock and Ryan Reynolds aren't really acting in this film. And it just got really old for me. Straight away, really old. So, as I said, let me know what you think of Red Notice. I would ask you to watch it, but according to Netflix's stats, everyone has watched it. So, just let me know what you think of it. Next little bit of news. One of my favourite actors, and you know this because I've said this countless times on Dude What Podcast and on Harry's Half Hour, is Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage has just been confirmed to be starring in the upcoming Renfield film. Now, there's a really good chance that if you're listening to this now, you've got no clue what the hell Renfield is. Well, let me tell you. Basically, Renfield is an upcoming, a new Dracula, another Dracula film. If you know the story of Dracula, you'll know that Renfield is basically his sort of manservant kind of guy, the guy who he mind controls, or he promises sort of that he will turn into a vampire and have a mortal life, and gets him to basically just do all of his bidding and stuff. So a while back, they announced a Renfield film, which sounds kind of not great. I don't know why they do that, or not just do a sort of a different take on Dracula, rather than focus on Renfield. But anyway, it got announced that Nicholas Hoult, really good actor, been in loads of stuff. He was in the X-Men films, sort of the newer ones, as Beast. He was in Mad Max Fury Road. Been in loads of good stuff. He was cast as Renfield. And the big news is that Nicolas Cage has been cast as his Dracula in this upcoming film. Now, I am pretty happy with that news. I just love to see Nicolas Cage freak out and do like wacky stuff on film, and the thought of Nicolas Cage playing Dracula just is so good. He's either going to go one of two ways. He's going to be crazy wacky, or he's going to be like intensely serious and like violent, and either one of those is going to be great to see. So can't wait for it. There probably is a hinted sort of release date, but yeah, I don't know it. So Nicolas Cage gonna be playing Dracula in the upcoming Renfield film. Next bit of news, all you ladies and guys are going to be happy with this. I'm pretty sure in an interview the last couple of days, Channing Tatum has confirmed that there is going to be a Magic Mike 3. I can say I've never seen these films. I know that, they have a reputation for being sort of just an excuse to just look at a load of dudes dancing around on a stage. Yeah, so yeah, I haven't seen it, but let me know if there's like an actual sort of story or something that is worthwhile to watching these films. I mean, they go down pretty well. Is that purely just because people want to gawk at Channing Tatum on stage, or is there something there that's worth watching? Let me know, and maybe I will watch them. Maybe me and Tomo will watch them on a future Dude What podcast. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, so Magic Mike 3 confirmed. I can't really say much more about it because I don't know anything about it, but you can bet your ass Magic Mike or Channing Tatum, if his character is even called Mike, I've got no clue, he will be dancing once again. Wasn't Matthew McConaughey in the first one, actually? Kind of weird, because like you sort of, or at least I imagine McConaughey now as being like an older guy, not so much the sort of the shredded hunky guy that he was maybe back in like 2003 or something. Quite like a skinny guy, I don't know. Yeah, let me know if Magic Mike's any good and if I should watch it. Next bit of news now is dear to my heart. So, as we know, we are in the beginnings, the early stages of the Renaissance. Now, I've mentioned this before, but if you've got no clue what the hell I'm talking about, the Renaissance is the return of our boy, everyone's favourite actor, Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser, if for some, weird reason you got no clue who I'm talking about, Brendan Fraser was the sort of 90s action go-to actor who was just in many great films, such as The Mummy, and loads of comedies like Bedazzled and Gods and Monsters, although that's not a comedy, and like just countless films for someone of my age. As I was a kid, he was in all these films, so he was like the big action hero of the time. Now, I'm not going to go into it because I've said it loads of times on the podcast, but he basically got blacklisted from Hollywood, didn't star in anything for a long time, but anyway, he's coming back, and he's got this huge following online where all of his fans are like flooding sort of these social media and saying like, get Brendan back, get him on this, get him on that, and he's been cast recently in loads of things. He's going to be is it Firefly or Dragonfly? I can't remember. In the upcoming Batwoman or Batgirl, I think it's Batwoman series or film rather. He's going to be in Scorsese's newest one, and there has been sort of murmurings, there's been rumblings that possibly Universal, I think it's Universal, are thinking about getting Brendan Fraser back and getting the crew back for The Mummy 4. Now that's like big news for Mummy fans, such as myself, because there were 3 mummies. The third one is genuinely considered to be not very good, but still obviously good because it's like an action film and it's it's worth watching. They recast Rachel Weisz with Maria Bello, which was kind of a bit crap because Rachel Weisz's character Evelyn is like a pig character. But anyway, there was going to be a 4th one back in the day, and apparently it was cast, it was written. They were having Antonio Banderas play the lead villain. It was going to be set in sort of Mexico and go on about Mexican mummies and history and stuff like that, which would have been really cool. But it got scrapped because they thought that that's not what the fans want. What the fans want is they want to see Tom Cruise screaming as he falls out of an airplane. And although that is hilarious, and there is a sort of a Tom Cruise screaming supercut, which is very funny to watch online, there's no sound in it other than Tom Cruise's silly little scream. Not hating on Tom Cruise, because, big respect, one of the last sort of really genuinely great actors in my opinion. But The Mummy 4 is going to be, if they go ahead with it, it's going to be so good, because that Mummy film with Tom Cruise didn't go down very well, and what the fans really want is Brendan back, they want the cast back, and what I think would be genuinely really cool is if they got Arnold Vosloo back, the guy who played the original Imhotep, and they somehow got him teaming up with Rick O'Connell, who's our Brendan Fraser's character, and they had like a team up where those two guys teamed up to take down a bigger enemy. That would be so cool. Anyway, I've gone on about the Mummy 4 for a lot now. But yeah, possibly, maybe. Let's get and if any Brendan Fraser fans are here, keep pushing it. It'll happen. Next little section is movie trailers. Only a couple that sort of got to my attention this week. First one is a really short 30-second teaser trailer for the upcoming Book of Boba Fett series. Boba Fett, obviously everyone knows by now, is this... he's like the coolest bounty hunter in the galaxy in Star Wars. And he made his return in Mandalorian Season 2, I think, after supposedly being sort of killed in the Sarlacc pit in one of those early Star Wars films. I can't remember which one. But anyway, it got announced on Disney Plus that he was going to have his own series where he sort of takes the throne of Jabba and becomes like the crime boss of Tatooine. And it's just a really short 30-second trailer where it just sort of is him saying, I was left for dead on Tatooine. I think fans were hoping to see like how he got out the Sarlacc pit and how he survived, because that's the big question. But I think they'll probably cover that in the series. But no, it's just a really short clip of Temuera Morrison, who's the sort of Kiwi actor, the New Zealand actor, just saying like, look, I'm going to rule with respect and stuff. So very cool. Comes out December 29th on Disney Plus. Check it out. Disney Plus is actually very good in my opinion. There's a lot of really good stuff on there. So yeah, Disney Plus. Next trailer, and actually the last bit of news for this week, is that there was a new Matrix trailer come out. Now, there was actually two, both a couple of minutes in length. One of them was like a Japanese trailer that had a few more shots in it that wasn't there. But this trailer is very cool. It shows new scenes and new shots, but there's a voiceover, and it's basically just saying that, like, if you see... deja vu is actually a glitch in the Matrix, as we learned in the previous films. And what it's doing is it's like intercutting shots of this new movie with shots of the previous films. And it says, I think one of the lines in this trailer is, why use old code to create something new? And then it keeps popping up with the word change and changes and things. And yeah, like, I don't know what this means. The Matrix is massive, it has loads of lore, there's loads of theories and things, so I think you're just going to have to wait until it comes out to know what the hell's going on with it. I was thinking about maybe doing like a bigger breakdown of the trailers, but really, like, I couldn't do it as good as some of these other guys do, so you should really check out all their videos. Emergency Awesome, Mr. Sunday Movies, channels like that. Emergency Awesome is absolutely on it. Anytime something new comes out, he does the deepest of deep dives into it. So check out his channel. But yeah, it looks very cool. And as I said, there is a Japanese version of this trailer that just shows a few more shots of sort of Neo on a motorbike. He's using more of his sort of Matrix powers to stop missiles and to he crashes the bike and he flips over itself. Very, very cool. Check it out, the Matrix Deja Vu glitch trailer. Can't wait for it. Okay, so that's it, guys. I mean, sorry for blasting through this fairly quickly. As I said, my throat is absolutely shredded, struggling a little bit. What I will say though is if you have made it to the end of this podcast, thanks a lot. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. My good friend Mr. Callum Hamby has been helping a whole lot these last few weeks. As I said, Tomo has been off taking some personal time, which is totally cool. But Hamby's been helping me out loads, and also my great guests have been keeping it interesting for everyone. Unfortunately, I couldn't get anyone on this week, although we have said that 7:30 is going to be coming back. We're going to be doing like a Q&A, hopefully, which brings me on to my next point, which is that we haven't had that many questions in for 7:30. I know a lot of his fans listen to the podcast with him on there. According to my Spotify Wrapped, his episode was actually our most listened to episode in ages. So a lot of people listening. Drop us an email, man. dudewhatpodcast@gmail.com. Or, even cooler, send us a voice message. speakpipe.com/dudewhatpodcast. You can literally ask him something, or ask me something, or just tell us something. Call us both idiots. That's totally cool. But yeah, we will be having him back to sort of further celebrate the release of his first album. Now, I have listened to it, and I've got to say, as someone who isn't really into this new modern pop, as I mentioned in the last episode, it's really good. It is genuinely good. I know he's going to hate it, by the way, if you listen to this. Sorry, 7:30, if you're listening to that, I just called you music pop. But yeah, sorry about that. But it's genuinely very good, and he messages me all the time, and he sends me little clips, and he sends me like bits of demos and things, and it's getting better and better. It's going from strength to strength. He's doing an upcoming track with someone. I don't really know how much I can say because I don't want to spoil anything, but it's very good. So yeah, if you want to ask 7:30 a question, we will be having him back soon. But we should be doing an episode of Dude What, which should come out Tuesday. It's going to be a big one, hopefully. I've been saying it is going to be a big one for a while, but it's going to be a big one. I think we should have the whole squad there. So yeah, check that out on Tuesday. If you're listening to this sort of on Friday, the day it comes out, then there's a live stream tonight. We live stream every Friday night from 8 to 9. That's GMT. That's like the standard British time. So if you want to just watch Tomo sort of dick about on a game for an hour, check it out. And if I can join him, or Hamby can join him, we do, and we just sort of chat about random shit. So yeah, check us out on that. Anyway, I'm going to go, everyone. My throat is gone, as you can probably tell. So I just want to say thanks for listening to this episode. Big peace, big love. Check us out on Instagram @DudeWhatPodcast. You know the email address. You know the speak pipe. Stay safe out there, everyone. I'll catch you like next week, or next week, next Tuesday. Nice one. Bye bye, everybody.